Welcome to Lock and Load Podcast. My name is Josh.
And I'm Michelle.
And we're here to talk to you about Connecticut 2A issues. Today, our special guest is Matt Strasser. He is the legislative coordinator for CCDL. And Matt, why don't you give us a little bio about yourself before we dive into this?
Right on, guys. Hey, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on.
I'm very happy to be here. Matt Strasser, CCDL legislative coordinator. I've been in this capacity for about a year now. Was approached by Holly after Ray left, and I've been a gun owner since maybe the day I turned 18. It might have been a few days after I turned 18. I went right down to
That's awesome.
One of the largest gun stores in the area, the most well known, and I bought an AR in 22. Very happy to do that. I turned 21, got my permit, handguns. I've been doing this on the recreational side since I could.
I'm going to ask a question. I just want to interject. So when you turned 18, was it after 2013?
Before, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got in before.
I was able to go down there and on a 7-day waiting period before the laws changed.
Yep.
Which is actually right around the time I got involved with the CCDL.
Okay.
So not in any capacity other than as a volunteer or
like
just
a member.
A member,
Yeah.
a guy in the crowd.
That's a good thing.
At that 2013 rally for SB 1160. That was probably my first exposure to activism in the 2A.
Well, because there wasn't much around. You didn't see it much before. It was there. CCDL has done a lot, but it wasn't as visible to everyone around. That was a big rally too.
That was such a good time. And to see all these other people with the like mindset, we were all open carrying long guns, or handguns, whatever you had. And the energy that was there was like, got me going on this, So, I mean, I've had waves, up and downs in how much free time I have for this, right now I'm finding myself a little more.
Matt is a very busy person. I've been trying to get him on this podcast for like 8 months now.
Yeah.
So we finally got him on.
I got a 2-year-old and he takes up a lot of my time. We have so much fun together. If you haven't met Carson or if you've been to a CCDL meeting, he's there a lot. The kid's a blast.
Normally zipping around a Matchbox cart. What are they?
Matchbox, Hot Wheels.
Hot Wheels, yeah.
We have a lot of fun with those, building tracks in the house, and
that works.
Ooh, there you go.
Oh yeah,
they grow up fast. You got to enjoy every minute.
Absolutely.
So first topic is open carry. So you are on the Facebook page CT Open Carry. You're one of the admins on there. I think that's where I first saw your name. And obviously back June 6, 2023, when HB 6667 got passed, we lost that right to open carry firearms in public. So why do you support open carry? Probably more than the average gun owner does.
Yeah, sure. It's actually it's funny. It's controversial within our own community.
But
at the end of the day, the biggest reason for me is comfort, 100%.
Okay.
It's so easy to wake up, throw your holster on and get out the door. It's never, and you'll hear it from politicians. It's an intimidation thing. I open carried for 10 years. So I got my permit around 13, maybe it was 14.
2000.
Yeah.
When he was 13.
Oh, no. Yeah. Although if I could have, I would have loved to, right? But, and I started open carrying first. A lot of people make the transition from concealed to open.
Yep.
Concealed was never even in my, something that I did,
There you go.
Mine either. I open carried primarily. I would conceal occasionally depending on where I was, what I was doing. But primarily I always did open carry.
Yeah. And it's not like I would say, if I'm cold, I'm not going to put it like make sure my gun is sticking out from my hoodie.
Right.
But it was always outside the waistband. And I'd go out to eat, Walmart. I had very, very few poor experiences. After Walmart went concealed only, I had one of their employees remind me that they did, but it's so gentle.
Yep.
Okay. Put your gun under your shirt. No problem.
Yep.
Okay.
People were always so concerned about getting a ticket. There were two big cases, or I wouldn't say cases, but events where somebody was arrested in Glastonbury at that restaurant or the bank. And the guy that called the cops for the disturbance of the peace call in the bank, ended up with the ticket for disturbing the peace because he was yelling at the teller, "The guy's got a gun." So,
well, back before 2013, I want to say
about that
is before that, you could get a breach of peace if the cops called on you, and then they changed it. But a lot of people hadn't caught on to that. That kind of got buried in with everything else. So people were still calling, and then they'd be upset because they didn't. Well, why aren't you giving them breach of peace?
Yeah,
because it wasn't illegal.
Someone doing anything wrong.
There was a memo of that was sent out.
Your feelings are hurt. Doesn't trample my rights.
So that's kind of what our group did. We brought awareness to that. CT Open Carry was never anything more than a Facebook project. We didn't do what the CCDL did and the right thing to do and nonprofit, but we still have 8,400 people on that page and have for a very long time. Some people would get jammed up, and it was a great resource to figure out how to get through what they were going through.
Yep. People ask questions there still.
Yeah.
I know I saw your post yesterday or the day before. The analytics are down.
Our engagement is terrible right now. Yeah.
That is Facebook.
And we're, I don't want to say or shadow ban, but the group exists now mostly for awareness and bills that are coming up, kind of like a pet I have in a resource I get to use in my new
so you get to roll it over, and so it's an informative because really your carry's gone, your open carry's gone. That's cool to be able to.
But it's a place to cross post too.
Yeah.
Right? So more people will see it hopefully.
And it'll never. It was suggested, well now it should be CT carry, which that will not happen. I don't know how long you guys have been doing this, but nope.
No.
And then or CT concealed carry, and that's just not what we are, So it's here to stay.
What about CT gun owners?
There is that CT gun owners forum.
There is a page already?
Yeah.
Forum,
it's called but it's,
my bad.
Another group.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'm surprised there's not like a CT concealed carry Facebook group, at least that I've seen.
So there's a very, very small one that somebody was opposed to my group.
So they made their own.
It doesn't
do anything.
No.
Okay.
No. It's probably dead.
Yeah, there's a few Connecticut ones out there. And then there's a couple instructor ones. They're super friendly.
I've been on a couple of those.
Yeah,
or I am on a couple of those.
Super informed people. Anyways.
It's Facebook, honey.
Yeah.
That's what happens on
it's
Facebook.
Instructors, and that's a whole other conversation.
Gives people a place to, play warrior on their keyboard.
You guys are great.
Keyboard warriors.
We love our instructors,
We try.
Keep everybody, the new people permanent. Get them in here, and we want to see those permit numbers grow. So.
Absolutely.
So up until a year ago ish, you were just a regular Joe at a CCDL meeting.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I if asked to do something, I came to your store.
When we were gathering
testimony
for
HB 6667.
Yep.
That's right. Yeah, we set up a laptop, which is something we're still going to be doing now.
Yep.
We don't know what the bills look like yet for this year, but
the session hasn't started yet.
Right.
I do. So I have a feeling that I think they're going to go. I think they're going to go after suppressors, and judging by
we don't talk about this stuff.
Why? Yeah.
Don't give them any ideas.
Oh,
they're not watching.
They don't get it from us. They just look at California, New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts,
and Tong, which we can publicly say this, is suing Glock.
Yeah,
he is with 15 other AGs from across the state
because they're easily
16 total states.
Easily convertible to machine guns.
They're blaming Glock. Yeah.
I missed the memo.
Yeah.
I could make that into a machine gun.
Yeah.
If you go on Temu or AliExpress and send a little device, then as long as the United States Postal Inspector doesn't find it, Yeah.
We're not condoning illegally manufacturing machine guns. That would be very bad and illegal and a federal crime. Don't do that.
Well, we should make it more illegal.
Well, I have to say, being out in Arizona and everybody at the show saying, "Where are you from? Are you local?" And we go, "No, we're from Connecticut." And they go, "Oh." I mean, I'm like, by the end of the show, I'm like, yeah, I know. Okay, I know.
Sorry, guys. I mean, I will say, like, the stigma from Connecticut, and I mean, at least like California, a lot of interesting manufacturers come out of like compliant stuff. Mm-hmm. Like I was looking at Compmags. Compmags are out of Cali. Cali Key, right? That's out of Cali.
That's like the necessity of an invention.
Some of the most anti-gun states.
come up with
have
interesting
the most gun parts manufacturers
Yeah.
now, because they can still run without being Glock or Smith or this, that, and the other.
We used to be the gun manufacturer of like the U.S., weren't we?
Yes.
With Mossberg, Ruger, Marlin, Colt.
We had PTR, I want to say, was here too. They left after 2013.
And then New York had a ton too.
New York,
and they've all pushed them out.
I mean the whole
New England,
correct. Yeah. I mean, that's
including New York too.
Where
I guess
America was founded on firearms.
Well, Connecticut Constitution has the strongest Second Amendment.
Yeah, Article 15
in the whole entire 50 states.
What do they do with that? What does the legislative body do with that? Use it as toilet paper?
I don't want to say it. But
I was.
I've been in that building and I've seen the toilet paper.
I didn't know how to say it nicely. They ignore it.
So going back, you were a regular Joe at CCDL.
Yep.
And you said Holly came to you?
Yeah, I got a phone call actually, which was really exciting.
Holly Sullivan, president of CCDL, for anyone who doesn't watch something.
Correct. So after 10 years of I mean, the best dedicated service, Ray Beavis was ready to move on. And if you don't know, he was the previous legislative coordinator doing what I do now. Our capacities are are definitely vastly different in that Ray was able to be in the building, meeting with legislators during the day. The
whole entire session.
Incredible. I mean,
nuts.
What he did was, he was essentially, I guess I shouldn't use the word lobbyist because he wasn't, but he was there advocating for everybody probably watching this, unless you just happen to be bored and you hate guns. And I don't know why you're doing this to yourself, but yeah. The guy was great. And so after 10 years of that, he was ready to move on. I got the phone call and I at first I was like, I don't know if I have the time for this. Like Josh said, I am busy. I've been married we're coming up on 5 years now. My wife and I travel quite a bit. We're always in the car. You
got the 2-year-old.
We got a 2-year-old. My 85-pound dog takes a lot of my time. I love bringing her into the woods, because I don't have a big house. She needs to move those legs,
Well, and family time is important, period.
It's the best. Mm-hmm. It's the best. And so the organization, and this is before that I was approached, made the decision to hire a lobbyist who could be in the building and who could do the things that the next person probably won't be able to do. Right. So when I got the phone call, it was more of, do you want to do half of Ray's job? And I'm like, yeah, I could try to be half the man that Ray was. Right. So that's what I'm doing now. 2024 was my first session. It's if you're familiar, it's a short session.
Yeah.
And it was probably what I would call like a slow pitch session.
Well, yeah, they just came off their win, obviously,
right.
of HB 667.
Which is funny. So people think, oh, they got their win, they're going to take a breather. We had the ammo tax again, which didn't have to be fought too hard. The last session,
that didn't make it out of committee.
It didn't make it out of committee, so we kind of just were able to concentrate on the polling location ban that was pending. That made it out of committee and moved to another committee where it was revised and made more reasonable. I would never push for this at all, but they were talking about 1,000 feet from a polling location.
Yeah, which is people's houses.
Which is nearly a quarter mile. So
that's my house. That's your house.
Correct. We both live next to a polling station. We wouldn't be able to carry on our properties. Yeah. Which is, I don't know about it's kind of insane. There's always a gun in my head. So.
Well, walking out of my house to my car and then I'm a felon.
But
that's insane.
Unattainable. Yeah. That is an unattainable because they cannot take the right of you having a firearm in your own personal property.
Well, especially like in Southington here, our polling locations are schools where we already can't carry on school grounds, school property. So we already can't carry there because school. Why are we adding 1,000 feet to this?
Yeah, it'll come back around, but they'll tap it down. That's
been ammo tax, right?
Yep,
that's been brought up. What 4, 5 times?
Actually, I think it's 6 or 7.
Is it?
It's 6 or 7.
That's I know they've changed the amounts.
Jillian Gilchrist in West Hartford wants that so bad.
It will pass eventually.
And she won re-election.
And that's what they do. Well, yeah, she in her district.
Nobody ran against her.
Yeah.
And she was free.
She gets
her and Liz Lee
so many votes.
Friends.
It's her district truly is as blue as it gets. But running unopposed is unbelievable. can't let that happen.
We've had a whole podcast on that.
Oh, really?
That was our post-election podcast we did. We actually went through, like we talked about the 81st district. And then we talked about
I'm just outside of that for anybody watching. Poulos is not my rep.
No, neither Matt and I are neighbors.
Actually, my rep will be on here shortly.
So I think Donna's will come out after this one. Okay. That was my plan. So cool. Donna Veach will be on our next podcast. She is awesome. Out of the 20.
I don't know what number that is.
I don't remember. And I'm in the district too. I just know who I vote for. It'll be in the title, guys, because I gotta figure that out. Click 30th district. There we go.
Oh, yes, of course. I
got that.
Yes.
But that'll be next podcast.
Google is your friend.
I was like, type. So obviously you can't see the future. This is a long session coming up. Right. So it goes from January all the way to June, July?
January, June.
Before we go into 8th. What we think will happen, I have a quick question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe not so quick. So you're doing half of Ray's job, which is cool, because Ray did a lot. So what does that make? Like, what are your primary duties as a legislative coordinator if you have a lobbyist up there?
That's wonderful. So alongside with our lobbyist, we're looking for anti-gun legislation. It's not like when something is proposed by, let's say, the ammo tax, Jillian Gilchrist, she calls me or anybody at the CCDL and says, "Hey, I just proposed the ammo tax again." That bill can sit there and make its way to the floor, and if you're not on top of it and looking, not every day, more than once a day, really, I mean, you have to be on top of it because time is of the essence. Because once that bill hits, you need to act. So the kind of actions we will be doing or that I'm behind is making sure that people are getting their testimonies in, advocating for people to show up to the Capitol, call their legislators, and make a difference. And it does too. Some people think that they're not going to listen to me, but if they do, and you end up influencing somebody. We have some pretty solid senators right now that we didn't have in the past. These people are becoming more vocal and more pro-gun because they're realizing the people in their district are.
Would you be interested? I don't remember if you said this at CDL or not. I know Ray's last year with HB 6667, we did like those 2A Tuesdays and you were there.
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm looking into doing something like that again, assuming they put through some, pretty gnarly bills.
That's a really safe assumption.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that because I know anything. I'm just saying that because I know the CT legislator, I know the makeup. These people don't like people like us. So yeah, for sure.
Law-abiding gun owners.
That kind of thing, that kind of stuff happens, I think, most successfully once bills are through committee and they are like on the House floor. So that's kind of like make sure that they, you're wearing a CCDL shirt in the Capitol and there's 50 or 100 of us. I
wish there was a lot more.
You're right.
Showing up.
Right.
And there should be.
There really should
350 some odd permits. Permit
330,000, 30,000. Yeah, whatever it is. So
I think getting the message out there
that's a huge part of it.
I mean, people still don't know about HB 6667 that was passed.
No,
they don't.
I see it all the time.
They don't know high cap mags changed in 2013.
That's insane too.
They still want. They don't know they need a permit for their waterfowl loads. So
correct. But I have a question for you. All right, and I don't know if you can explain it or not because most of the people that listen to our show understand CCDL. They're familiar with CCDL. So with what you're doing, do you overlap with outreach? Because that was outreach's initial purpose.
Yes.
So I'm just curious how that you guys work together.
I always understood that they kind of work together they overlap in certain areas, but I mean, maybe I'm wrong.
No.
That's what I'm asking.
So I guess like the getting the body in the building, for lack of a better way to say that, that's an outreach action, right? So maybe I'll write up something to say, hey, this is what this is what we need to have happen. And then,
they push.
Army maybe, will activate. I don't know how to.
So it's a coordinated effort.
Without a doubt. We work together. We have to.
Right.
All of us do, the best we can. And there's a lot of like my reps, they're great with this stuff. So meeting with them is great just to have that rapport.
Yeah.
But like when that polling bill was proposed last year, Sampson lives next to a school. He was affected. He was able to stand and make a point to his colleagues.
Mm-hmm.
So part of the role would be getting in the offices of the other legislators and not to and kind of do like with Julie what she's doing. Julie Camerata, if I don't remember her name earlier, but that's who our lobbyist is. And just kind of working with her on that. She has the ability to spend the time in there. I don't know how many hours a week, but when I'm at work. But like those two-way Tuesdays, that's kind of the idea. Is so once Walt gets the guys in the building, say, okay, now that we're here, this is what we need to do while we're here.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go in these offices. We're going to make appointments. We're going to meet with aides, try to get the legislators and make a difference.
I do, as much as, Matt and I have had this conversation about Chris Poulos, who won the 81st district by 1 vote and then 1,500 votes. The one thing I can give credit to the guy, he voted wrong. He did. The credit is he met with us. He didn't send out an aide.
Yeah,
he met with. I made the appointment 1-on-1, and then I got ambushed with like 6 other CCDL people. Apparently, Southington has gun owners, and
there were like eight or
there was like 8 of us around there,
like surrounding Poulos, saying, "Hey, this is our."
Yeah,
I watched it.
Yeah.
I was standing right there,
and so like the credit I give him is he came out, he talked to us. And didn't send an aide or somebody or, an intern or something.
Right. And blow you off.
Yeah. Yep. So I do give him credit, and I hope that A, he'll continue to do that. B, that other reps take that, and senators too.
A lot of them do. So there are the ones that won't, right? And what are you going to do? You really can't cross that bridge. It's not going to happen. But,
because even if you get them, they're done. They're not listening to you. So.
But what I'm hearing you say, Josh, is that you so somebody that eventually was an anti-gun vote listened and you took up 10, 15 minutes of his time.
Yeah, it was about
where one he was
like 45 minutes. But
yeah. Okay, so he and in that time he wasn't hearing the people that were supporting the bill. So that's a win, right? And right, and in that time you're able to really drive home the point. I don't know. I don't want to say that he regrets that vote because I can't speak for him, but and he probably doesn't. But I know that
it's been brought up time and time again.
And when he talks about that in like town halls and stuff like that, he is still so careful with how he answers because he knows we're watching.
He wants his job
because he knows that the gun owners are paying attention. If this was like
he knows there's Southington gun owners.
If there was a group that wasn't active, and we have a really active portion of this town and CCDL. When it comes to volunteers, a lot of them come out of Southington.
Yeah. Or right around here.
Yeah. So,
so on election day, Matt and I were both at our polling location, getting numbers for Sampson. And then when we went to Sampson's, it was the Southington Republican Town Committee, right? Is that the right abbreviation?
SRTC.
Party thing. And I was there, you were there. And I'm just a gun store owner. I'm not a CCDL executive or anything. Beth was there, the secretary.
Don't forget,
Art was there. Art,
he's
just a regular guy too.
He's our actually our town captain, our town liaison for the organization.
Walt Cupson was there.
Correct. The outreach coordinator.
Chris Patel was there.
He's a regional manager.
Yeah.
And I might be missing someone. I don't think
we had some members.
Members, definitely.
Members, yeah.
And I'm like, that's a lot.
Rob. But it's Rob.
It is Rob.
They know Rob supports them and us 100%, which means they show up more for those people. Yeah. But the other thing I wanted to add in is with testimony and stuff, when we do testimony and we send it in, the big thing I always try to tell people is make sure you also CC your reps.
Correct.
Because like I know my reps, even when they don't vote the way they should, they actually, when I do testimony, when I've gone up to the Capitol, they'll come in, whether they're on the committee or not, they'll be in the room. They go, okay. And they look at the numbers. They see when I'm going to testify, and they've been in the room every time. And that helps because they've actually come out to talk, to listen to me talk, even though they have a copy of the testimony.
Right.
They come to see the
business
emotion
owners
and
too.
what's put into it.
I may not live in Chris's district, but he still took that time out.
Yes.
Well, your store is.
My
right?
store is
like,
in
so
the
sitting
store
in his district right now.
Yes, is in his district. My physical house isn't, but my store is. And he's the rep for Southington, right? That's where I pay my taxes too.
Correct.
And so, I mean, I don't think any of the reps that cover a chunk of Southington are not going to take my phone call or email or whatever. I think they're going to answer. Now, majority of them are with the not a majority anymore because of the Plainville side. France losing.
Right.
That was disappointing.
It was
because Rebecca Martinez is not pro 2A. I had a regular Sean reach out to her, and she dismissed it very quickly. So
she is not going to vote with us.
No, she's not.
So let me bring us back on. So, because we're getting
we sidetrack.
We're getting a little bit into this. So, what I would like to ask one more question of you,
please.
What are the key things as legislative coordinator? What are the key things you'd like to see gun owners, CCDL members, but gun owners in general get more involved in? How do you see that helping the movement of our rights?
Sure. So this is definitely a multifaceted answer. Everybody can do something. And if everybody did like a little bit, then like the people that did something could do a lot less, but while we're building, and we are, because more people are showing up every year, we're becoming more effective every year. So opening your emails, if you're not a CCDL member, become one. You can become a member for free. One of the most important parts of becoming a CCDL member is getting our emails. The next step is financing lawsuits because we're losing.
Right.
Trying to get back our assault weapons.
So if you see the red boxes at the stores, those go directly towards the legislative funds. They don't go to the general fund. It goes right to the legislative fund.
So when you open your email and you see something from us, act on it. If it's during the session, we couldn't make writing testimony, and writing testimony has a certain value to it. Showing up is always better. We couldn't make writing it any easier at this point. With one of the services that Julie provides the organization is that she has what we call a click through. So when you open up our emails now, you can just type in where you live, and or however we want to set it up. It's very like the software is powerful. I don't get it. Thank God she does. And I just say, who do you want this to go to? We could aim it at a committee, or we can aim it at a region by address. You type in your name and your address, and then hit send. You can testify in like under a minute. It's wild.
Well, and people don't understand. It doesn't have to be a book. You can simply say, I support or I oppose, and be done.
Yep.
It's not huge.
So when the testimony is looked at, and they'll open up a lot of them, but in 2023, we were able to get 4,400 oppositional testimonies to 667. And like essentially at that point, it becomes a numbers thing. There were 4,400 against it, and it's just nay or yay. And so just be active at that level. It should be. And I mean, I think, so we FOIA'd the amount of others going into that session, just others.
Yeah.
And it was over 80,000. Right. So, and then
did your FOIA, the panic buying.
Then the panic buying started. I participated.
Yes, you did.
I was here. Oh, I drove Josh nuts. I was, I definitely participated. I hope my wife's not watching, but
they were cheap. It was just
a couple lowers. And then I did buy like an anodized 300 blackout, which I don't think I've even shot it. The thing it just looks so pretty. I don't want to shoot it.
Yeah. But was it the green to the brown?
Brown.
Okay. Yeah. It's nice. Nice color.
Burnt browns?
It's just, they call it anodized brown.
Okay.
It's kind of like a burnt browns, but shinier.
Okay.
In an effort to answer your question and actually stay on track, which I'm so bad at. So that written stuff is important. Getting to the Capitol. So people will say stuff, and I used to say this too, before I realized how important this was. Like the people that are against the gun owners aren't at work, or like I have a job, you know. If you can't get there, I understand you can't get there, you know, but I've built up a couple of days of PTO at my job, and I don't mind using, you know, I use a few of them, especially where I'm at in my role. But even last year, I think I used 4 of them, or sorry, the year before I was in the 2023, 2023, that bill, like reading it made me like emotional. I didn't like it. And I spent my time there.
Yeah. Were you there for both? I know you were there for both.
I was at like 2 or 3 2A Tuesdays in addition to testimony.
Yep.
The 2A Tuesdays weren't really testimony days.
Yeah, no.
Right?
They were there to go and talk to your legislators, and that's when I talked to Poulos.
Yep. So I was there for that.
I was more flexible in my time, so I was able to take whatever time I wanted.
Yeah.
My husband was very regimented, very little time. I think he got 1 week for a while, and then he finally got 2 weeks off a year. And literally for about 5 or 6 years, he would use all his vacation time to go to Hartford.
Yeah.
And people would go, well, I have a job. Well, he does too. And now he doesn't have a vacation, but the rights are more important. No. And we would go up. I would go up afterwards and in between and around, because I also helped out Ray and did stuff up there.
Yeah.
But he literally took off starting after Sandy Hook for about 5-6 years. He would just take off that time and go up. And then, you know, it got to a point where he was like, well, I can still come up after work. So he'd leave a little bit early and then come up later during testimony days and stuff like that. So if there was some flexibility, he wouldn't take a full day off.
With testimony now, you have Zoom. They still are doing that, I assume, right?
So I Zoomed on the ammo tax in 23 from my job. I didn't take the time off, you know, and I work in manufacturing, which is kind of cool to parallel it to gun ownership. You know, I look at my firearms through a different lens, but I just step off to the side because there's a list printed the day before of who's going to go when, and you just kind of glance at your phone and you go, this person's going, okay, I'm 10 people away. You work for a little bit, you glance again, oh, I'm next, step off to the side. You could do it in less time than it takes to use the restroom. Yeah. You know, and
it's not hard.
Or on your lunch break or something, right? If you time it out right, if you have a flexibility on your lunch break, you know,
and you know, I love what your husband did. That's incredible.
Well, that was before Zoom,
and it's so right. So it speaks to how easy it is today.
It is very easy. I mean, it's a little different for us now. I always do the written testimony. I don't even do the Zoom because I never know when I'm going to have a customer in my shop. It was just my husband and I, sometimes one or the other, depending on what's going on. So it's a little bit tougher. You know, I can't go, oh, wait, hold on. I want to do my Zoom call.
Yeah.
They may understand, they may not, but I also have to run my shop and I'm making stuff all the time. But I always send in the written testimony that I don't miss.
I think at a minimum, everyone can send written testimony.
So
I get if you're not a public speaker, like, and it's not hard.
No.
I remember Mary Foyers. She just graduated as a police officer
Congratulations.
yesterday.
She did?
Last night.
Oh,
Last night I
nice.
saw it on Instagram.
Congratulations.
She was also been on 2 of our podcasts here, guys.
Nice.
And I remember her first time doing, like, it was just through Zoom. And I watched that. I was like watching all of them on my phone, and she was nervous as hell.
Yeah.
Went through. Well, that was it. You know,
Well, the first time I ever did it, I was shaking. I was like, oh my God. And Doug Dubitsky and Rob Sampson were phenomenal because they'd stop me and ask questions and get me off and get me just talking. And I'd be like, okay. And then I'd come out and later on, they're like, see what we did there? I got you.
They're good at that too.
And because they do this all like for other bills too. Like these people our reps are not just doing gun stuff, right?
No.
So they're very good at redirecting, bringing you back. You know, which today, thank you very much for being able to do that to me. You know, but I can speak to that. You know, I had a hard time speaking and publicly, especially, you know, with these people that are creating the laws for the state that I live in.
They hate you,
right?
And you have to go talk to them nicely. Yes,
right.
I know.
And I've seen people do the opposite. I've seen them not speak nicely. It doesn't get anywhere.
No.
You know, but I mean, I can read phenomenal. I know it sounds crazy. Oh yeah, I know how to read. But you know, when it goes to speaking, like I'm reading it, oh my God, you freeze. And but people like Dubitsky, and even now, Greg Howard, you know, people that were not exactly there, Fishbein,
Yep.
Sampson, they'll ask you a question and bring you back.
Right.
Once they know that you're on their side, they're phenomenal at like lobbing something up to you, and you can just, if you can knock it out of the park.
And extending time too.
Well, they extend the time, but they also, if you've hit on a point that they want the other people to hear, they'll bring you back. Either say, okay, and they'll interrupt, or after you're done testifying, they bring you back to that point. And so ask you to clarify. And by doing so, they're asking questions, which clarifies. So you're hitting a point that they've been trying to get across, and they want other people to help support that. They're very good at what they do.
It's incredible to if you watch it through a different lens, and analyze what they're actually doing. Yeah.
But Doug Dubitsky is a lawyer, so he's got a little bit of
Fishbein,
Fishbein too.
They're our lawyers for the organization. They're the ones fighting this. It's almost become like an 1160 extension versus, so it doesn't take those 5 days, that commitment. We have 44, maybe 1,000 CCDL members, 350-ish thousand. That's like a third of a million permit holders that we last knew. We've been trying to get FOIA updates from the state, and they're not playing nice anymore. It's getting really difficult.
Tong. Probably.
Yeah, they're not working with us like we want them to.
Because they don't like what the numbers show.
So that's a point that was brought up by Cameron Atkinson, who's that's our third lawyer at our last meeting. So in the lawsuit, Grant versus Lamont, what they and then actually Cameron shouted out Ray Beavis for this too, because he was the one behind the FOIA, where they established those 80,000 others because of the judge in 1160 who admitted that common use firearms can't be banned in the state of Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
It's undoubtable. There are 80,000. Mm-hmm. So that FOIA really took their entire lawsuit and just says,
and there's more than that.
I think that's going to help with
way more, and they won't tell us.
Right.
I think it'll help with the Glock aspect.
Without a doubt.
They try to go after those. I mean, Mass went after them, right? So it's
not about, but see, this is the deal with the lawsuits. It's not about winning.
It's about stopping them in the legislative process.
It's about bankrupting them. Look what they did to Remington.
That's right. Huh?
This isn't about winning a lawsuit.
Correct.
They get all the money they want from tax dollars. They're trying to bankrupt these manufacturers. And they figured out the way to stop this is to bankrupt them. So you sue them and you bankrupt them. That's the end goal. They're not looking to win the lawsuit.
It's disgusting.
And that's the hard part too of being on our side of things, because we have the honor of financing both sides of these lawsuits.
It's great.
We pay taxes, and then our AGs go and sue the people that we're paying to, So we're and then we donate our money to organizations like CCDL, SAF, FBC.
It's the same with the ammo tax. And she wants it to go to gun violence groups, gun violence prevention groups. Right. No, that's CAGV.
That's gonna.
What'd you call them?
CAGV.
CAGV.
I haven't heard it that way before, but I like it. Yeah.
It's old school.
They're a little upside down right now too. They have new leadership at the top.
Yeah. Well, he got super promoted. What was it?
From
their president got. He's like
he got Bloomberg now.
Yeah, I think he went to the federal level.
Yeah, it could be.
I saw it on their Facebook page. I spy.
So yeah, they're 1 and 2, or they're 1, and then you can call them there too. Are going to be new this year, which for what I'm doing makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
I mean, when I entered the role, I met with Ray. We had a really nice dinner. We would have stayed longer if the restaurant wasn't closing.
Yep.
He has so much information.
Those kind of things.
And the stuff he was able to hand over. And hey, call me anytime. So. I mean, I think that moving forward, I have a lot to learn. I'm lucky. I feel personally lucky to have the backing of. So Alavius isn't new to firearms. She actually works for Friends of Connecticut Sportsmen as well, which is cool because she knows the people that are in our corner kind of already. So we get a win there.
Keith was pushing for her for a while.
Yeah. And
can we get him on? I don't know him. We'll come back to that.
Yeah.
I could get him on. Absolutely.
Shoot him a text.
Why not? Yeah. Yeah. So, the banker thing is funny too. I'm going in circles here, but that's exactly what they're going to try to do, and we're paying for both sides of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nope. That's the way it works. I do not have any other questions. Do you?
I don't think so.
And I'm not trying to cut you off.
No,
I've
not
enjoyed
at all.
this
Yeah.
100%.
I did too.
I just think I've hit all of my markers.
Yeah,
Right.
the bullet points we came up with.
Yes.
Is there anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I do. So, I mean, I have it here at the bottom in big letters. I have to make sure that not only personally, but on behalf of the CCDL, to thank Josh for, his constant devotion to the organization.
Mm-hmm.
The man is at our meetings,
I feel like
he's got our donation box up.
I feel like as a gun store owner, I do like the bare minimum, but then I look at
But
other
if
ones
everybody
and
did
I'm
the bare minimum,
right?
we'd be in a better spot.
Well, that's what it was all
Yeah.
about. Everybody does. It's supposed to be in something like this. I mean, if you look at the way structures are and things, if everybody does a little bit, you get
Makes
a
life
lot done.
easier. Yeah.
And some people might not know how to either. So if you're looking to get involved, give me a ring, call Walt. It's so easy. We like the 2-Way Tuesdays. We love to have a few hundred people in the building.
That'd be great.
But I can't take off. You could take off one day and be there on this Tuesday, and the next Tuesday somebody else takes off that one day.
Right.
And
you don't have to take all of them.
Yeah. And so you look at even a quarter of the membership, if you were able to get
or take a half
10% of them,
day. Take a half day if that's if that's how your job works or something.
No,
I mean,
absolutely.
I'm at work so early that's what I do. So when I go to the Capitol, like I did in 23 and 24, I was able to take one PTO day and go to the Capitol twice because I work. I get to work at 6 o'clock, and then by 10 a.m. there I am in Hartford, and grab some lunch on the way. Or that you can eat there. Oh yeah. If you haven't been, actually, it's kind of cool.
They do.
It's
they got to keep their legislators happy.
That's right. Yeah. I don't know. If you haven't been there, show up. We don't bite. We're kind of fun. I have fun with you guys. Thanks for having me. This has been a great time. I was a little nervous to do it. I'm glad we finally connected because Josh had been asking me for a while.
Yeah, I was.
And we'll have you back.
Great. Yeah, I'm not far. Maybe next time I'm going to do it at your house, I'll just walk over.
Yeah. Just drag everything home.
Yeah, I'm just teasing.
But maybe by Zoom or something. I've not tried. I know this can do remote stuff. I just haven't tried to.
Yeah. I'm looking at all these wires that you guys can't see, and I'm like, yep, this is going to stay here.
Yeah, this isn't moving. But we did 2 podcasts, and one in Alaska and one in Hawaii. So I'll just on this.
Wow.
Yeah, I had a little microphone. It was the worst setup I've had, but it worked. Cool backgrounds though. Nice backgrounds.
Beautiful. They made it work.
Yeah. So something simple as that. I'm gonna do. So I'm going to SHOT Show in a couple weeks.
It's great.
And I'm going to do some videos for that too.
Do you have an extra media pass by any chance? Or?
I mean, if you have the PTO and want to go,
dude. I've been thinking about it. I told my wife I was going just to lock it in. But that's not actually true. I don't even have a way to get there. But
airplane typically.
I think Frank is going with Holly and stuff. You couldn't get in with them.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I didn't even talk to him about it.
Okay. Yeah. I believe
Holly normally goes.
Frank said, because I just talked to him. I was hanging out with him. He said he definitely was going, and he and Holly were going.
Let's see who else is going. I got to put out the feelers, find out who's going.
That would be like, for me, if I went, it'd be like totally for fun and personal reasons, I don't know. There might be a little value in it as far as this role goes, but I don't know if you knew that we attended a conference with the SAF last at the end of September. That was GRPC, Gun Rights Policy
Coalition. Coalition.
And that was such an awesome experience that once I was coming back from that on the plane's Wi-Fi, Googling where the next to be place was. Like where's the next connection going to be made?
Well, SHOT Show does have GOA there. They have the NRA. They have NSSF. But GOA, a lot of times they have their lawyer there too during SHOT, which is nice.
I know. So I went 2 years ago. Obviously in January, I went 2 years ago. Matt and Michele were there too.
Yeah.
Met up with them, and I ran into Holly one day. She was meeting with lawyers or something. I think it was a lawyer for GOA for some lawsuit. I ran into her at SHOT Show.
That was, yeah. because she was talking to them about what was going on here too with our stuff.
Yeah, well, with I think it was probably Eddie's lawsuit was starting that. No,
that
could get the times messed up.
Satan 6.
Oh, okay.
Or Satan 7.
Yeah, it was coming.
And it was coming down the pike.
Because they tried that the year before and it didn't pass. That's what it was.
So there was a lot of talk about that too.
Yeah, it's amazing how many like dealers just from Connecticut go. You like run into them or something, or like people from Connecticut.
It's a big to do. I mean, I've only ever seen media of it, you know, and I know how things are put online. It's not exactly how you see it in real life, but
it's overwhelming.
Yeah. You walk in there, you're like, holy.
But it's
and then you go to another building, it's the same thing.
I've got a family member who goes. He's I think he's like a rep for a firearms manufacturer on the West Coast. And when I saw he was there, I called him up. I said, "Hey man, that looks awesome. Maybe I can go next year." And he goes, "Dude, you don't want to be here." It's so overwhelming, you know.
Once you go, a lot of people don't want to be there. I will say, it's even being there, you miss half of it. There's no way you can see everything. And if you're planning on doing any of the seminars, which are phenomenal, you're definitely missing things. You know, and you end up walking in circles and hitting the same thing 3 times because you didn't know how to get to the other place. And it's crazy.
I have a good mental map mapped out this time.
I did not. I'm usually really good with directions. Like I am spot on.
Well, we were trying to figure out where I remember we were trying to find something and we had no idea where it was.
No.
we were trying to find one of the seminars.
Yes.
It was across the street in a different building.
Figured it out.
Oh, geez,
But you don't go across the street.
Yeah,
you have to go through the tunnels and around bridges and around, because they set up all this man-made stuff. So you go from the Venetian over to the Caesar Palace.
Oh,
so it's huge.
Wow. But so if you guys want to see that,
though, right? It's like it's all over like you cross the street.
Sometimes, you know? This was like a thing for SHOT, and I'm sure they do it for other shows too.
Wow.
But,
SHOT is all internal.
Yeah, it's Sky Bridge they call it.
Yeah, the entrances are, from what I understand, they're just in the Venetian or the Palazzo. I don't know.
There's 2 entrances. That's it.
I don't think you can get in from Caesars because it's Caesars Expo side.
Yeah. Anyways, so if you guys want to see that stuff, I will cross post down to my social medias and probably this stuff too, because why not? But other than that, you guys don't need to hear us talk about SHOT Show.
Yeah.
Reliving the past. So, Matt, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.
Michelle, nice to see you.
No problem.
And my name's Josh.
And I'm Michelle.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Lock and Load Podcast is sponsored by Lock and Load Firearms, Connecticut's #1 rated gun store and pistol permit class on Google. Come check us out, 1573 Meriden Waterbury Turnpike in Southington. Lock and Load Firearms.
Lock and Load Podcast is also sponsored by Patriot Wear Holsters, custom-made Kydex holsters locally made in Waterbury, Connecticut. www.patriotwearholster.com and use code LNL Podcast for 10% off your purchase. Orders available for shipping or pickup at various locations.